Hi everyone, my name is Tiso and this is Becoming Dr. Andy. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching one of my videos once again. And if you are here for the second time or the third time but you still haven't subscribed, please do the right thing and subscribe. And if you are new here, welcome. I hope you do stay and become a part of my journey as I become Dr. Andy. So on this channel, I post medical school vlogs and useful information that will help you navigate throughout your academic career, especially if you are a medical student or looking forward to become one. So on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you bursaries that fund medical students in South Africa. So I am going to be doing some reading because there's so much information that I want to share and I just couldn't memorize everything. So first up, we have ikusasa Student Financial Program, which is also known as Isfap. So Isfap was meant to fund students from the missing middle. So those are students that are not considered financially poor by Nsfas, but also can't afford to pay for their tuition. I am part of those students. So I remember I applied for Nsfas in first year and I got rejected, or rather got offered the gap funding, which was 30% of my studies, because they said that my parent was able to pay or is able to pay for my fees. But the thing that they do is that they look at the gross income and they do not look at the income after deductions. So Isfap funds those students that do not qualify for Nsfas but can't pay for their studies basically. So they fund students from UJ, UP, Wits, UCT, Stellenbosch, UKZN, NMU, TUT, to name a few. I will leave a link on the description box for you to read about all the universities that they offer. They do not only fund medical students, they do fund physiotherapists, nursing students, pharmacists, BSc, occupational therapy, engineering students, and accounting sciences. There's obviously many more. If you need more details, please use the link and go read about it. Their requirements is that you have to be a South African citizen, you have to have completed your matric, registered towards any university that they mentioned, and studying towards the qualifications that they've mentioned. So this bursary funds for undergraduate students, meaning this has to be your first degree. And also your family household income must not exceed 600,000. I think it funds students that have a family household income between 400,000 to 600,000, because below 400,000 you qualify for Nsfas. I think so. So what do they offer? They cover your tuition fees 100%, your accommodation, your book allowance, monthly allowance, transport allowance if you stay at home and you travel to school, and rent allowance if you are not staying on campus. They also offer you a good laptop and good medical equipment. Like, this is my bursary, so I know a bit more about it. They bought me scrubs, my stethoscope, and other medical equipment that I need. They bought me my lab coats back in second year. So it is a good bursary to consider if you are looking for one. So second up, we have Motsepe Foundation. So Motsepe funds the STEM fields, which is the science, technology, English, and maths programs, or rather qualifications. I'll leave a link below to go read exactly what qualifications they fund, but they require you to have done matric the previous year. So I don't think it's for students who have taken gap years. And also, if you are accepted to any institution in South Africa and you are studying to any of these fields of study that they are funding, and you have to have a minimum overall average of 70% in your matric years. So the Motsepe Foundation bursary is closing 15 September 2022. As I've said, I'm gonna leave a link with all the details and the application form. The third one is Tiso Foundation. So this one also funds undergraduates only, and people who are from the previously disadvantaged group according to the South African government, which is Black people, Indian people, and colors. And also they want excellent academic results, which is an average of at least 70% in your matric, or 65% if you have already registered and you're already a full-time student. And they fund you in any university you're in South Africa. So their applications open on the 1st of August and they are closing 30 September. I'll leave a link below to direct you to their website. Number 4, we have PPS Bursary. So they also don't fund medical students only. They fund audios, pharmacists, physios, dentists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, industrial psychology, and nurses. So you have to be a South African citizen, completed matric, and you registered in a university. You are doing your 4th year or postgraduate. So this bursary does fund postgraduate students, and you have to have an average of at least 75% in your matric or in your current studies, and also a proven financial need. So what I found is that they're closing 15 January every year. So I will see if I can find a link to link their site below so you can go read more about them. And number 5, we have Gallagher Scholarship, which is an international scholarship that funds students in South Africa, Mexico, and other countries that are still developing. So they fund students from UCT only, I believe, and they cover your tuition, your books, they give you a stipend. The thing about this bursary is that you have to have Nsfas, even though I couldn't find why, if they're gonna cover everything, but when you apply for it, they direct you to apply for Nsfas as well. I've heard that it is a really good scholarship. So they want academic achievement and leadership potential. So if you're like the head girl or head boy of your school, this bursary is looking for you. So they also have interviews as part of their selections. The bursary is closing on the 31st of August 2022. I am going to leave a link below leading to the online application form. The 6th bursary is the Moshal Scholarship. So this funds students from Wits, UP, UCT, Stellenbosch, UKZN, UFS, Rhodes, UJ, and NMU, to name a few. It covers everything: your tuition, your book allowance, your stipend, but they need an average of at least 70% for your English, maths, physics, or accounting. And also your family has to have an income lower than 120,000 per annum. They are unfortunately closed, so they closed 18 March 2020. But if you are in grade 10 or grade 11 and you want a bursary, other bursary to consider, or a scholarship to consider, take this one down and make sure you do not miss the closing date next year or the year you want to apply for the bursary. Number 7, we have Michael and Susan Dell. So this bursary funds students from UCT, UP, Stellenbosch, and it covers about up to 150,000. Even though I can't understand exactly how this bursary works, but from what I believe is that it covers your needs, the needs that you might have while you are studying, because I know people who have Nsfas but have Dell on top of that. I think they give you like laptop, book allowance as well. So I'm not sure whether the 150,000 is per year or it's just 150,000 that they are giving you for the duration of your studies, so that, let's say, you have debts now and you can use this money to top up I believe, but the applications are opening on the 1st of October 2022. I'll leave a link to their website, so look out for that. Number 8, we have the Department of Health bursaries. So these ones are the bursaries that you have to, I think you have to go there personally to your Department of Health where you stay, like provincially, and you have to be from the certain province. Like you have to apply at the Department of Health in Mpumalanga if you stay in Mpumalanga. A bad side about these kind of bursaries is that if you are studying medicine and they are funding you, they will want you to go back and work in Mpumalanga if you are funded by Mpumalanga. If you are funded by Gauteng Department of Health, they want you to work at a hospital in Gauteng, but they do cover everything. And the last but not least is definitely Nsfas. Nsfas is good funding. Do not ever undermine Nsfas. Nsfas pay for your full tuition. They give you allowance. They give you your book allowance. So let's say now you are struggling to find a bursary and it's first day of your studies. You do not know what to do. You don't know where to go. Go to your financial office at your university and ask for that form for Nsfas, or start applying for Nsfas right now. It is a good bursary to fall back on if nothing works out, basically. I also tried Nsfas, but as I said, I got rejected because I wasn't considered poor enough, of which it was really tough. So I personally struggled to find a bursary to fund my studies because of these 3 reasons. Number 1, the misconceptions. You know, when they tell you that if you get good marks in matric, bursaries will come chasing after you. You do not have to apply for any bursaries. And I literally believe that. I didn't pay much attention to bursaries. I didn't give myself time to apply for bursaries because I told myself, you're gonna get brilliant marks in matric, so you do not need to apply for bursaries. And I'm gonna tell you, that thing doesn't work. It is not true. Unless you're gonna be in the top 10 national or top 10 provincial, where you're gonna be exposed to sponsors and companies where they can scout you and offer you a bursary. But if you're just gonna get your distinctions like almost everyone else and not make it to the top 10 provincial or nationally, it's hard for bursaries to know who you are. It's like you saying, I'm not gonna apply to any university, I'm gonna get good marks and UCT will come chasing after me. It doesn't work like that. So if you have that mentality, please drop it now. Take it from me, I struggled with my 7 distinctions thinking that bursaries will come chasing after me. It didn't happen. And because another thing, bursaries that fund medical students are very rare. Yes, I mentioned a couple of them, but they are not as much as bursaries funding engineering students. Like you have a lot of bursaries and a lot of private companies that will fund those kind of students, and it is easier for you if you performed well for them to give you a bursary so that you can come and work for them. But when it comes to medicine, it is a different story. Another thing that I faced as a challenge was that most bursaries wanted like extracurricular activities, like good performance in sports, in some debate and all of that. And my school that I went to didn't offer those kind of things. We didn't get that opportunity. So if you're coming from a school in the rural area, or which has a bad or a poor socio-economic background, you're not exposed to sports and debates, big competitions, some bursaries won't fund you simply because you do not have what they need. You do not have the good skills and the good leadership. So that's another thing that I faced. And number 3, as I mentioned, my financial background, that I was not considered coming from a very poor background, but also the background that I'm coming from, is not rich enough or is not able to fund for my fees. So if you are currently facing any of that, I think the bursaries that I mentioned are going to help you. And also, ending the video, I'm going to give you certain advices that will help you when you're applying for bursaries. Number one, do you have your ID? I know this is kind of like obvious, but if you are still in matric right now and you do not have your ID, I mean, you're about to write your trial, so you should have your ID. And by your ID, I mean have your copy of your ID and have a certified copy. When they say they want a certified copy, you just submit on time, and make sure you have your report cards like from grade 10 in case they want that. Don't lose them. Make sure you have copies and a certified copies, and make sure you have pay slips from your parents, because most bursaries do require that. And number two, integrity. Please be honest. Don't fake debts. I know it's easy for you to be like, I'm raised by my grandmother, my parents died. In fact, I never had a mother in my life. Don't do that. Please be honest when you apply, because these things are gonna backfire. Let's say you get the funding and now they wanna see, I don't, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just be honest. Submit honestly. Don't lie about where you stay. Don't lie about what your parents do for a living. Just be honest. And number three, have references. If a bursary is asking for references, do complete your references. Make sure you talk to the people that you put on your references. Like, don't put your principal or your pastor without telling them, and make sure you put their exact address and their phone number so that they can be able to contact them. And if you tell them, they are aware that, okay, some people might call and ask me about Nsfas, therefore I have to speak 1, 2, 3 about her. And number four, work on your writing skills. Some bursaries require motivational letters, so do not rely on emotional blackmail and tell them that you are very, very poor, you can't even do anything. Just know how to draft a good motivational letter specifying why they should literally give you the bursary. Don't rely only on emotional blackmail, because that doesn't work. And another one is that apply on time. I prefer that you start searching for bursaries in grade 11, because some bursaries will tell you that we require community service for at least 4 weeks or something like that, or job shadowing. So if you have known that bit earlier, you would have done, or you'd have started with the job shadowing in grade 10 or grade 11, so that when you get to your matric, you simply submit everything, instead of you trying to do the job shadowing now, and now the bursary is closing in 2 weeks. They're requiring a month of community service. So do search bursaries on time. If you are doing grade 10 or grade 11, please, I hope you marked down all these bursaries so that you track them up and you know when they are opening and when they are closing, so that you do not find yourself in deep mud when you're in matric. And another thing, do check your emails. If you have applied for any bursary, they do communicate with you via email. Do check your emails regularly and submit all the documents that they might need. So we've come to the end of the video. I hope you found the video useful. If you have any question, please use the links that I've pasted on my description box. They will lead you to the official websites, which have their contact numbers and their emails. I do not know much about these bursaries, unfortunately, so I won't be that helpful when you're asking me more details than what I've shared. So please use the links that I'm sharing. Other than that, if you have any other question that is just like general, I'll be free to answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.